Hello. Hi, everyone. Oh, did you open the window?
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. I do that every night. Hello, everyone. I'm over here with Anastasia, but she is likely not going to join us tonight. But maybe will join us tomorrow. Right, Nustis?
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who are not in the know, Anastasia is my fantastic aunt, and she's visiting me for literally a day and a half. Do you want to say hello? I don't think you will be visit. This is like the creepiest entrance I've ever seen.
That's the only type of entrances I do.
Yes. Well, she did join us for like a hot second. Anastasia, my fantastic aunt. So yeah, she's a peach. Well, hi guys. I don't even know where to start. We were reading MTG's amendments to proposed amendments to the Ukraine aid bill earlier, and I read them yesterday too. I was just like having a hard time not choking laughing, but also like feeling really sad because as we were discussing earlier, like this is a real congresswoman that people have to like take seriously in Congress because she actually represents the population that voted for her, which is insane. Like it's insane that a person with that little brain function is a congresswoman and is actually allowed to like propose amendments and stuff because she's batshit, like actually. Also, look at this awesome hoodie. This is an amazing hoodie. I am in love with this hoodie. So I posted a picture of this hoodie on Instagram, on Twitter, and on YouTube, and a lot of people were asking me where did I get it. So I have good news and bad news. Bad news, I'll start with bad news. It's a limited drop, and they literally had 3 left. One in a size large, one in a size medium, and one in a size small. So this is a size small, and it's very oversized. So it would fit like a small and a medium, and maybe a large if you wanted to like be very, very tight on you. But so I am going to go back tomorrow and I want to get the large one and I want to put it up on auction or sort of like maybe not an auction, on a raffle for the next drone fundraiser. So not for this one, but for the next one. So basically everybody who'll donate like $20 or more or something like that will get this hoodie. So there are going to be no more of these. This is actually like their limited drop, yeah. And I went on their website, I asked at the store, and they're basically like, they're sold out. So I got lucky, and I actually love this hoodie so much. And I think a size large would fit someone who is a large and an extra large. So yeah, yeah, what do you guys think? Is it a small, large, like UK shoes? Well, look, this is a small, right? And like, it's meant to be an extra oversized hoodie. So it's huge. Like, I feel like a size large person would fit in it. It's just that the sleeves would be pretty short because like it's meant for someone who's shorter, right? But it is a very like sizable, like, look at this, like it's a very sizable hoodie. And the large, I think, will fit both a large, like it's going to be an oversized hoodie for a large. And I think it's going to fit an XL and a double XL. A double XL, it'll just be like tighter, but an XL and a large, I think it'll fit easy and it'll still be oversized. So yeah, so there is that. Speaking of fundraisers, you guys have genuinely put me in awe because I woke up today to a donation of almost $300 from a Robert M. I don't know if they want their last name to be on blast or not, so I'm just going to go with Robert M. And then another $10 in a donation as well, which brings us to $1,269.97 as a total for a drone fundraiser for Chosen Company. So we are literally halfway through, like a little over halfway through out of $2,500 for a DJI Mavic 3 Pro drone with 2 extra batteries. So if you would like to donate, Grumpy will post the links in YouTube, in the YouTube chat, and I will pin them. And if you are on, thank you, Lisa. Oh, and if you are on TikTok, then hi, Ian. Then you can find the links to donate through. You can find the links to donate through my link in bio under my profile picture, or Kat or Grumpy will be posting the links there. And of course, every donation that comes during the live is going to be added up and announced. Thank you, Mariana. Hi, Mariana. Good to see you. And I'm going to be keeping up the tally. So this fundraiser has started very strong, and I'm like scared that it's going to stall. It won't let me post your Venmo here. Weird. My Venmo is available in my link in bio under my profile picture. So is my PayPal. But I am, so I'm scared that it's going to stall, and provided that the person from the unit is going to be in Kyiv in a couple of days, it'd be cool if we were able to do the other half, maybe wishful thinking, but in the next, like, I don't know, 3, 5, 6 days or something. So anyways, if you would like to donate, any amount is obviously a very important amount, and every amount matters. So $1, $5, $10, $15, $500, 1,000, 50,000. I'm kidding, but everything is every bit helps. Hi, JB. So yeah, Yulia and Rick the Ukrainian are both itty bitty teeny weeny peoples. Rick is 5'9" and wears a small t-shirt. Like, what? My son wears a large and he's 5'7" and not fat, just broad shoulders. Yeah, Rick is a pretty tiny person. Like, he's a very compact person. I've met him in person and I was like, wow, you are quite a small person. But I'm a tiny person. I'm 5'2" and I'm a size like extra small normally. Right now I'm like actually quite well, so this is gonna sound very stupid, but like I'm quite overweight right now, so I'm a size small, which is like, but I'm just a small person, so compact person. Yeah, compact. Because I feel like, I don't know, small is not the word for it. Hi, Blom Bombsheller and Cheryl. I've gotten 2 t-shirts from Ukraine. Both were too thin fabric and too clingy. I like heavy loose tees. It's hot in Arizona and I hate bras. That makes sense. Actually, it depends on the company that you get them from. I think like Ricky Hype is a really cool company that does different fabric weights. So this is like a pretty heavy sweatshirt. Like, it's not, like you can tell by the build of it and how it like fits. It's not going to be a clingy sweatshirt by no means, and it's not thin. How is the fundraiser going? Funny you ask, Kat. I was just talking about it. Yeah, way too hot for here. Yeah, I mean, hey, but for winter. Hi, Paul. Leather Cat, Yulia isn't small. She's fun-sized. Oh my God. If I had a dime for literally every time I've heard that be said about myself, I think I would have bought like 100 drones for the military at this point. If I had a dime for every time someone says that, get her mad and you will see how fun she is. Yeah, I mean, yes, I am very fun when I'm mad. Not. Yeah, you don't want to, like, see, here's like the thing. Small person, big energy. I'm a big person stuck in a small person. So it's like, you don't want to get me mad. I'm scary. Where can we get that hoodie? So they're sold out, these hoodies, but I will most likely put one up for raffle for the next drone fundraiser, which is, the sooner we close this drone fundraiser, the sooner the next fundraiser comes up. Hi there, everyone. I'm new on Total and looking for any. Huh? I doubt you're scary. I am scary. She's scary. Oh, See, Blonde Bombsheller, you are saying that now, but that's because you haven't met me upset or mad. Hi there from Sweden. I'm not part of the that rules us at the moment. My side would give you fighter jets for 2 years ago. Aw, hi. I've been trying to read what your shirt says. Russia is a terrorist state. Snowing here in Oslo tonight. Hoodie like that would be perfect, right? I mean, listen, this is a perfect hoodie in general. It's just like the best hoodie. The best hoodie with the best attitude. Hi, Magda. I've seen scarier. I'm sure, listen, you're in Texas. I'm sure you have. But it's like, because you're in Texas, like, your opinion is like skewed. I'm sure you've seen some crazy stuff. Hi, Grim. Alrighty, you guys. Let's start with the news. No donations so far today. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard you say. I'm pretty sure I've said funnier things, but, Do you get when you wear that out? Well, I don't know, because I just I didn't have it until today. So I don't know what responses, but provided that I'm in Ukraine, I likely will get positive responses in this hoodie. I posted a picture with it. Hi, Jin. I posted a picture with it on Instagram and on other social media, and the responses have so far been very supportive and also asking where I got it. But again, it's sold out, and I'm likely going to put a size large of this hoodie on raffle for the next fundraiser, because it is a very cool hoodie. All right. I think it's time to start on the news. And if any donations at all, if any donations at all will be coming, I will be announcing them. Okay, Microsoft has detected early signs of Russian hackers' attempts to influence the US election. So far, their activity is less than before the last election in 2020, but it may increase rapidly in the coming months. Of course, it will increase, because that's what Russia does before US elections, especially this one. Because it decides so much for Ukraine, and it decides so much for the front line and for weapons deliveries and for everything. And Russia is basically screwed if they don't get their way, and I hope they won't. Chief of the main intelligence directorate Budanov has forecasted new operations by the Russian Volunteer Corps and an escalation of drone attacks within Russian territory, reports the Washington Post. To counter the Russians, Budanov advocates for increased attacks by Russian volunteers operating within the Russian Federation. The newspaper writes, Budanov also anticipates a rise in the frequency of drone attacks across the Russian Federation. He suggests that there is already a comprehensive plan in place covering various aspects of the strategy, the article adds. First of all, it's not it's you are. And second of all, that's exactly what Russia is. So I'm not brave for wearing that out. I'm just truthful. Oopsies. Budanov also anticipates a rise in the frequency of drone attacks across the Russian Federation. He suggests that there is already a comprehensive plan in place covering various aspects of this strategy, the article adds. And good, because honestly, Russia has been increasing its attacks on Ukraine. Like, for instance, today, there were 3 air raids this evening already, and I don't know And I don't know if that's it for tonight. I highly doubt it. I think there is going to be more. I think there is going to be more. I think there are going to be more air raids. Also, Sumy suffered badly today, which is like incredibly sad. And I haven't even had the time to look at the amount of casualties and fatalities there, or like what has been struck, and we will discover that together, because that was an air raid right before Anastasia got to Kyiv. So I was distracted, and I thought that something would be flying over to Kyiv, or something would be hitting Kyiv or coming to Kyiv. So and I was waiting for Anastasia, and she's never been to my apartment. So I was going to, go get her from downstairs. But yeah, Sumy has had a really, really rough night tonight, and Dnipro did the night before, and it's just, it's been quite awful. There have been a lot of Russian attacks all throughout Ukraine, and of course I'm anticipating that there is going to be a lot more because of the vote on the aid package. And I think that if the package passes, of course it's going to be worse than ever, right? Because they have been preparing for this for the past like week or so. So yeah, I'm from Dnipro. I hope you and everyone you know are safe. To get back 27 seconds behind. South Korea will provide Ukraine with a $200 million package of financial assistance for humanitarian needs. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Economy and Finance Choi Sang-mok. Also, we just got a donation of $10. So that makes it $1,279.97 for the DJI Mavic 3 Pro drone for chosen company. And we are a little over halfway, and I hope that we can get we can move up a little today in the in the amount raised, because I'm really hoping to order this drone next week, or on Monday, or on Tuesday, or on Wednesday. Well, whenever, but it would be nice to order it sooner than later. It is noted that the aid will be included in the previously announced $2.3 billion aid package. According to the officials, Seoul plans to provide an initial $200 million in humanitarian aid this year to assist with emergency needs in Ukraine. The remaining $2.1 billion will be provided in the form of long-term low-interest loans through the Economic Development and Cooperation Fund, EDCF, starting in 2025. It is stated that the detailed projects of the recovery program under the fund will be determined after close consultations with Ukrainian side. The finance minister also noted that South Korea will provide $50 million each to the World Bank and the European Bank for reconstruction and development for their projects to help Ukraine. It's actually pretty amazing that South Korea, and I say this every time South Korea does anything, but it's actually pretty amazing that South Korea does these things for Ukraine, because it's 2546. 1 second. Plus 20 plus 072 and plus, it's quite amazing that South Korea does these things for Ukraine, because South Korea usually is very neutral and doesn't pick sides and doesn't partake in any conflicts, really, because they try to stay their course. Well, they're not necessarily neutral, but they really don't like to butt in to different conflicts, and they really don't like to pick a side, especially when it comes to allies of North Korea, because they don't want to put themselves into North Korea's fire way, right? Because there has always been this tension. And of course, North Korea always has guns pointed at South Korea. So it's really, 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 really amazing that they have been showing their support for Ukraine and giving us humanitarian aid. So that's phenomenal. Also, we just got another donation, and that puts us at $1,306.15. South Korea and Japan are great examples of societies not sliding into the grip of mafia type government. What are the secrets of their success? I mean, Japan has its own problems, to be honest, and so does South Korea, but they're just very different to our problems. It's like, the grass is always greener on the other side. Like, yes, corruption wise, they're definitely a much better society. Like, safety wise, they are as well. For instance, there are. Kids are not like scared to walk around the street there. Kids can take public transportation by themselves. It's 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 like it's a very fantastic society, in that way. And kids are encouraged to be um independent, and to be able to like go to school by themselves, and take the subway by themselves. And that, in Japan, especially. In South Korea, I don't know if kids are nearly that safe, but they have a very different they just have a very different society build. But both South Korea and Japan, well, Japan more so, usually stay neutral and uninvolved, and they really don't like to butt in. But both South Korea and Japan have been helping Ukraine with humanitarian aid, and have been doing a lot, and have been really showing their side, which is wild, and it's really, really good. Thank you. Another donation of $20, which brings us to $1,326.15. Two Russian agents were arrested in Germany for trying to sabotage military support for Ukraine. Aw, how surprising. Not. According to Der Spiegel, the suspects were trying to obtain information about American military bases in Germany, and were plotting attacks on military transportation routes in the country. The main defendant is a 39-year-old Russian of German descent, Dieter S. He's accused of collaborating with Russian Special Services agent activity for the purpose of sabotage and creating a security threat to military facilities. Trying to like sabotage military facilities in Germany being like a very monitored state where there is lots of police and everybody follows the rules, sounds like the dumbest idea one could ever come up with. In particular, Dieter, according to the investigation, maintained contact with an employee of one of the Russian special services with whom he had been planning sabotage in Germany since October 2023. According to the federal prosecutor's office, Dieter arranged to carry out explosions and arson attacks on military infrastructure and industrial facilities in Germany. Again, sounds like the dumbest idea ever, provided how look, Germany is not like a police state, right? As in, like, it's not heavily policed, right? But everyone in Germany follows rules, and if people see something out of order, they will notify the authorities that something is out of order. Also, like, German people generally like do tend to follow rules and follow like protocols and follow, there is like this term, and it's called Deutsche Pünktlichkeit, and that basically means like German punctuality. And so that's basically what that describes Germany as a society. It's like everything really goes by the rules. So if someone sees something out of the ordinary, like, they will report it. So trying to sabotage military facilities in Germany as like a single citizen is genuinely the dumbest thing I've ever heard about. He had already been preparing for this and gathering information about potential targets, including US military facilities. The second defendant is also a Russian of German descent, 37-year-old Alexander Y. He's accused of operating as an agent of the Russian Special Services. He has been in contact with Dieter since March 2024 at least. According to the investigation, the suspects intended to prevent the delivery of military aid from Germany to Ukraine. Denmark, sorry, I think, again, I don't know how these two guys were hoping to pull this off, because sabotaging a military facility or sabotaging military deliveries in general requires like thorough planning and a lot of special service work, not two random dudes that decided that they want to join the side of evil and try to like help. It's wild to me that they thought something was going to come out of it. But hey, hashtag being a Russian. POV, being a Russian. Dumb and Dumber. Also, thank you, Ozzy, for buying a membership. That's very, very sweet. Thank you, Ian. Thank you so much. Denmark becomes the first country to purchase Ukrainian weapons for the armed forces at its own expense, Ministry of Strategic Industries of Ukraine reports. 200 million Danish kroner, or $28.5 million, will be allocated to the project Zbrojari Manufacturing Freedom. This is a global fundraising campaign aimed at raising $10 billion for the production of Ukrainian weapons this year. In total, the new aid package for Ukraine from Denmark amounts to 2.2 billion Danish kroner. The total capability of the Ukrainian defense industry today is about $20 billion. At the same time, Ukraine has only $6 billion, thank you, Scooter, to buy all the weapons it produces. Roughly speaking, only a third of all the production machines available in the country are in operation because we do not have enough money to provide orders for the rest, explained Alexander Kamyshin, Minister of Strategic Industries. Also, we just got a donation from Olha that amounts to $50. Thank you so much. And that brings us to $1,376.15. Woohoo! Can we get to 1,400, which would be $23.85? Historian and Wikipedia contributor Yuri Lushchai was killed near Bakhmut. He was the author of dozens of scientific articles, was fluent in 6 languages, worked as a teacher, and was a regular Wikipedia contributor. On March 25th, 2024, Yuri Lushchai made his last edit on Wikipedia. On March 28th, he was first reported missing, and later it was reported that he was killed that day, defending his birthplace in Donetsk region during a shelling by the Russians. He was buried on April 10th in the village of Veliky Luchke. See, very often Russia says things like, oh, but if Ukraine existed for so long, why are there no famous Ukrainian writers? Why are there no famous Ukrainian artists or poets or painters or composers or something like that? Russia has been systematically killing Ukrainian writers, composers, painters, and artists of all genres and all mediums for centuries. For centuries, Russia has been. There is this term called the executed Renaissance, or шестидесятники, the 60 years. And those were Ukrainian literary, brilliant literary figures in the 60s who were all persecuted and led to death by Russia. If they weren't executed, they were persecuted and put to jails, and where the conditions were so bad that they would get sick and die. And that has been happening to Ukrainians in every generation. Every time there would be, very active Ukrainian people who were very firm in their position and tried to promote Ukrainian art or Ukrainian traditions, they would be murdered. Think about Mykola Leontovich, who wrote Shedrik, which you know as Carol of the Bells. He was killed in his father's home when he was hiding from the Russian prosecution, and a KGB agent murdered him. Yeah, Russia also tries to claim famous Ukrainians as their own. Yes, they do. Also, another donation of $5, which brings us to $1,381.15. Also, physicians and scientists. Yeah, yes, Malevich, Gogol. You know what's? It always kills me. Gogol kills me the most because Gogol was an ambassador of Ukrainian culture to Imperial Russia. And he had to write in Russian, but he wrote about Ukraine and he consistently painted about Ukraine because he was Ukrainian. And he was an ambassador of Ukrainian culture to the Imperial Russia. And Russians keep saying, well, he wrote in Russian, so he was Russian. Like, the man identified as Ukrainian. He was legitimately an ambassador of Ukrainian culture. Like, can you get any lower? Can you go any lower? So, yeah, that's what happens to Ukrainian writers and to Ukrainian literary elites. NATO partners may supply Ukraine with 6 Patriot systems. Germany is working on the matter, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Oh my gosh. We also got a donation of 54 cents because there is a person in our chat who is a literal baby and wants me to say 69 cents at the end of every donation, and that's what they do. Yeah, a literal toddler and a middle schooler. I mean, I'm joking. We have a great dynamic here, but like he does that every single time, and so we are at $1,381.69. At a press conference in Brussels, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz reminded that Germany has recently decided to transfer its 3rd Patriot system to Ukraine. And now he's working to ensure that NATO provides Ukraine with 6 more such systems. We have heard about 7 additional systems. One of them is ours, and we hope to find 6 more in the NATO framework, he stated. We genuinely really need that. The reason why Tripilla power plant was hit successfully is because we don't have enough Patriot batteries, and we don't have enough air defense batteries, and we don't have enough shells for those batteries. For instance, they were able to take down 7 of the missiles out of 11, but 3 of them hit, and they ruined power plant, which means that Kyiv is going to likely experience electricity shortages in the summer, especially when people start using ACs, and electricity is going to be used much more frequently. They had just stolen the songs of Tarakonami. They steal everything. They steal modern Ukrainian songs. Like, we have a bunch of songs that every Ukrainian knows because they have been playing on the radio. They're like really big. It's like, kind of like we have artists that are so popular here. They're kind of like John Lennon's of Ukraine, basically. And those songs have been stolen and rewritten into Russian, which makes no sense because those songs are also mostly about like their meaning is about love for Ukraine. So it makes no sense that Russia would be stealing them. Like, it's so dumb. But it is what it is. So yeah. On April 17th, 2024, the Armed Forces of Ukraine carried out a successful operation with the attack at the military airfield in Jankoy in the temporarily occupied Crimea, Defense Intelligence of Ukraine reported. The following Russian targets were destroyed or critically damaged: 4 S-400 air defense missile launchers, 3 radar detection systems, Air Defense Command and Control Center, Fundament M airspace surveillance equipment. That's a huge, 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 huge success. And if you notice, we have been targeting Crimea the most out of all of the occupied territories and out of like the territories that Russia considers their own. And there is good reason for that. And I think you will start seeing why come May or June. I've been given different dates, but I would say pay attention to Crimea, pay attention to what Ukraine has been taking out in Crimea in the last 6 months. I can't tell you what I know, but you can start forming a pattern. Also, there is another $25 towards the fundraiser on YouTube. But I do have to let you know, guys, that, for instance, if we are getting this, like, for instance, if we end the fundraiser in like 4 days or 5 days and we're able to raise the full amount to buy the drone, so I won't be able to cash out the donations that come through YouTube chat until the 21st of the next month. So I, of course, thank you so much for every donation. But if these are more like long haul fundraisers, I would say that YouTube chat works very well. But if these are like short-term fundraisers, then PayPal or Venmo is better unless you can't use it, because I can use the funds well, like as soon as we're at the amount that we need. While on YouTube, I won't be able to take them out until the 21st of the next month, because it pays out on, for me, it pays, and I can't change it. For me, it pays out on the 21st of each month for the month before. So on the 21st of May, I will be paid for April. So everything that comes in April is going to be then. So just FYI for future reference. And I didn't know how to like bring that up, because I used to never get like donations through YouTube chat. So or like if they did come, they were like smaller, like $1 or $2 or $5. So I would just contribute from my own pocket and then like, compensate myself. But if they're like larger donations, then it's going to be, and there have been larger donations, and like it's going to be very difficult for me to front that to then compensate myself. So just FYI. And either way, thank you very much for contributing. I'm not saying, I'm not like criticizing anyone or anything like that by any means. Please don't take it that way. All I'm trying to say is that if you I might not be able to, that the drone purchase might be delayed based on that, because if there is a large amount coming from YouTube, then I won't be able to get it until next month. Where do we send a check? Well, I'm in Ukraine, so I don't think you can send a check here, but you could use PayPal or Venmo if you would like to, and Grumpy can walk you through it if Grumpy doesn't mind. And that's very, very lovely of you, and I really, really appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Ozzy. Oh, another membership. That's very sweet of you. So there is a video from United 24 that I'm going to show you. I'm going to download it first and then send it and show it on screen on YouTube. It's a video from U24, and it's about Russian disinformation. And of course, I want to show it because first of all, I think their videos are fantastic. You know that. I also work with them. And I work with them because I think that their videos are fantastic. It's not like, and I don't get paid for advertising them by any means, but I feel like it's fair to disclose that I do work with them on a specific segment. It's called Ukraine Briefly, and it explains history in 1 minute videos. But I do really like what they do and how they do it, and that's why I work with them, because they are awesome in my humble opinion. So let me do this. And
disinformation work. Let's take a quick look at the Kremlin's campaign against Ukraine. Called the Black Hole and aimed at disrupting Western aid, it was 100% fake. It had a specific time frame, propaganda channels, and consisted of several phases. Phase 1. Creating a false narrative, not supported by evidence. To do this, the Kremlin perverted the news about Western aid by using the phrase "a black hole," with reference to Ukraine. Then the fake news was spread via FSB-affiliated social media and official Russian channels. In this way, the Kremlin sought to form a solid anti-Ukrainian narrative and warm up the audience for further manipulation. Phase 2. Fabricating evidence to support the narrative. To keep its manipulation going, Moscow created a video comparing President Zelensky to that same black hole, as if it had been filmed in Times Square in New York City, and applied a fake watermark from Fox News Digital to make a video look more credible. The falsified material was then disseminated via those same Russian private media channels, and public, including the Russian embassies. So both bots and foreign media could pick up the fake news and make it go viral. Phase 3. Faking events that never happened to validate the campaign. For example, sharing photos of graffiti depicting Zelensky and the same black hole as if they were taken in many European and American cities. The graffiti never really existed.
No one reports seeing it in real life.
Though for those who swallowed the news, the whole campaign looked authentic and solidified the discredited image of Ukraine made by Russia. The total number of views the Black Hole campaign gained reached over 6 million. This is just one among many campaigns by Russia in Ukraine, Europe, the US, and the rest of the world.
Это наше самое главное оружие.
Yeah, propaganda is Russia's main weapon, and they are brilliant at propaganda, like genuinely, and they constantly learn, and they also have so many resources for propaganda that it's really, really difficult to stay on top of it, honestly. Like, I see a lot of Ukrainians even falling for propaganda very often because it just keeps getting more and more targeted. Propaganda is basically marketing, right? And like, they've been doing this for so long, and I mean, genuinely, since the Soviet Union, they've been putting framework for this since the Cold War, and since before that as well. And it's just it sounds conspiratorial, but I've said this on many lives, but there are many new people here. There is this former KGB agent. His name is Yuri Bezmenov, and he defected from the Soviet Union through India, it was a very difficult like situation for him, but he managed to defect, and he came from the Soviet Union through India to Canada. And he then gave an interview. I posted that interview. If you scroll through my community tab, that interview is posted a little further down there, and he explains exactly how Russia operates and how Russia creates propaganda and what Russia wants to do to the United States and to America and how it's going to destroy it. And people keep saying that he envisioned, that he predicted this. And it's like, no, he did not predict it. Like, he wasn't predicting anything. He wasn't making conclusions based on his knowledge. He was literally telling you what he was trained to do. And Putin was a KGB agent as well. So he's following the same protocol because that's what he was taught. And that's literally the same tactics and the same weapons that he uses. So this man, Yuri Bezmenov, literally tells you the KGB agent's playbook of how to destroy the United States. And no one was listening to him because he gave that interview, I believe, in the 80s. And people were like, oh, well, 5 years have passed, 10 years have passed, and this hasn't happened. Well, this wasn't meant to happen in 5 or 10 years. This was a very, very long haul plan. Hi, Elizabeth. Good to see you. Oh, I don't want to play with that troll. Some trolls are just not worth it. We got a $10 donation towards the DJI Mavic 3 Pro drone for Chosen Company, and that brings us to $1,416.69. So if somebody would like to contribute to the fundraiser, I'm going to go back and pin Grumpy's comment again, and you can do so through, if you're on YouTube, through the links that appear on the screen right here. And if you are on TikTok, you can do that. You can donate to the fundraising campaign through the links in my link in bio. That's under my profile picture. And Chosen, this unit is, if you would like to know why this unit is important to me, right at the beginning of a live 2 days ago, so not this one, not the one before that, but the one before that, I explained the whole story of how I met the soldier from this unit at the hospital on my first visit to Ukraine in October. Actually, it was October 1st, and how we stayed in touch, and we fundraised for them before. We got them thermals, we got them rations, like food rations, and we also got them, we fundraised money to get them a quad for reconnaissance missions. Well, Marge said niet to Ukraine aid, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is genuinely the most insane person I have ever seen, and I cannot believe genuinely that she is a representative of the Congress and that other people in the Congress have to listen to her and have to actually come out with reasonable responses to the insane horseshit that comes out of her mouth. And I also cannot believe that this woman remembers to breathe, because the brain there ain't braining. The head of the Finnish parliament, here's the thing, I also don't know if she's actually that stupid or she's just that evil. Like, I don't get it. The head of the Finnish parliament's defense committee, Jukka Kopra, believes that Russian oligarchs who own real estate in the country may cooperate with Russian intelligence. Why would he think that? Of course they cooperate with Russian intelligence. All Russian oligarchs are the people who made money in Russia have to be approved by the Kremlin. You have to have major ties to the Kremlin. Otherwise, you can't succeed because you just will not be allowed to. So, of course, they cooperate with the Kremlin. That's not even a question. It's the same as in China. You cannot become rich unless you're in the Chinese Communist Party, or you have a membership to it, or you cooperate with it. It's the same. It's the same thing. What do you mean they might be cooperating with the Russian authorities? As Kopra reminded, the Russians have been buying up various types of property in Finland for years, which, according to the Finnish counterintelligence agency Supo, could pose a threat to the country's security. After all, Russia used real estate in Ukraine for similar purposes on the eve of the invasion. Duh. And I feel like, I mean, I'm not calling anyone stupid. I'm not like saying like, how could you not have known this? But I'm just saying like, yes, that is 100% the case. And I understand that they can't say that this is 100% the case without having 100% of the evidence, but also based on Russia's behavior and Russian oligarchs' behaviors in the past and how they have been using these things in other countries. Yes, certainly, yes, that's exactly what they do. And based on the knowledge that Russian oligarchs have to cooperate with the Kremlin and be integrated into the entire system in order to even be able to be oligarchs, you know that this is true. Ukrainian drones are so advanced that they're able to reach Siberia, says The Economist. According to the publication, there are currently companies that have invested hundreds of millions of dollars to produce long-range drones capable of searching out and striking distant targets. Half a dozen firms now make them. The best of the new models has a range of 3,000 kilometers, the article says. The production of such drones is a necessity, as Western partners are reluctant to provide arms to Ukraine. Detective, an intelligence officer responsible for part of the program, said that despite the U.S. calls on Ukraine to stop attacks on Russian oil refineries, he had not received an order to dial down operations, because no one will. This is our way to survive. Our targets change day to day. We keep the Russians on their toes, said the detective. Another UAV manufacturer told reporters in an informal setting that his American contacts tell us to continue. Thank you, Ozzy. Also, oh, thank you, James. $20.01. Thank you. So we just received another donation of $20.01. So we're at $1,436.70. Do you think we can get to $1,500? Maybe? Or is that too much to ask for? So I actually talked to someone the other day about drones and Ukrainian drone manufacturers, and I will say that Ukraine has been doing and has been making insane progress in developing drones. We have drones of a lot of different kinds, and they are just as good, and some are much better than the drones from other countries, and better than DJIs and better than Shaheds and stuff like that. And we have a plant that manufactures and develops these drones. I'm not going to say where, but it's been targeted quite a few times by Russia in the past, quite recently. But Russia has targeted a lot of different places recently, so that doesn't necessarily give you any details on the location. But that plant is really, really successful, and they're developing very, 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 very modern technology drones, and those drones are phenomenal, genuinely. I was actually talking to someone from military intelligence talking about these drones, and once we've like straightened out all details of production, those drones are going to be they're going to be unmatched. So also, we had just gotten a donation from MaxTrax. Thank you, Truthful, in the amount of 99 cents. So we are now at $1,437.69. Again, 69 cents. Can you tell the toddler in the chat? The IAEA confirmed the information about the drone strike on Zaporizhia NPP today. The IAEA team heard an explosion at 10:35 a.m. Kyiv time, as when ZNPP subsequently reported the attempted drone attack took place. The team was denied access to the training center just outside the ZNPP to assess the incident, with the plant citing potential security risks. No worries, Roy. No worries at all. According to the IAEA Director General Grossi, there were no casualties or damage as a result of the strike. This is the third such attack on the plant in the past 2 weeks, the agency said. Russia has been doing some crazy attacks very close to Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, and I know that they're doing these attacks strictly to create like a sense of fear and to pin that on Ukraine. But at the same time, knowing Russians, knowing how negligent they are, I'm just very scared that one of these attacks is going to create a much larger problem than they anticipated. Also, we are at $1,447.70. Thank you, September Claire. And thank you, Blue Ariel Silk. And I think someone just bought 3 coffees for the drones, which brings us to $1,462.70. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that. So also there is a buy me a coffee link in my link in bio on YouTube and on TikTok. So if PayPal and Venmo don't work for you, there is also buy me a coffee. Yes, 3 coffees for drones. Thank you. So if that's a more convenient platform for you, you can also use that one. I just constantly forget that it exists because I haven't quite figured out how to use it yet. But I know Rick uses it, and a lot of people like it, so I trust that it's a good platform. F-16s will make a difference, I hope. F-16s will make a huge difference. A huge, huge, huge difference. F-16s will be helping quite a bit, and they will be helping intercept missiles quite a bit. Also, F-16s are great because you can put different types of missiles and shells on them. So it's going to be a very versatile fighter jet for us. And also it's more modern than anything that we have. So for us, it is a very big deal. And it has a larger range. It has a larger striking range. So that means that we can strike behind the enemy lines without having to to put our pilots at risk. It's a very, 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 very big, it's going to be a huge change for Ukraine. Oh, sorry. Boom. One sec. This month, the Ukrainian defense industry is producing 10 Bohdana self-propelled howitzers for the first time, with more to come in May and beyond, says Volodymyr Zelensky. The share of our own production is constantly growing. The state enters into serious long-term contracts with our enterprises, which provide predictability, the ability to recruit people, and attract investment, the president shared. Oh, also, I remembered. I wanted to show you something. One sec. So, you know how I told you that the other day, the unit we're fundraising for the other day was, I know that they had stickers and they had inscriptions on the Stella in Donetsk. Yulia is the one. Is she the one to? Yes, I am Yulia. Yeah, that's That's how my name is spelled on Venmo and PayPal. So yes, that's me. But so I told you that they had stickers and they had their inscriptions on the Donetsk sign that was repainted, and all of the stuff was taken off of it. So this company, this Ukrainian company, Clay, that makes stickers, they gave you 50% off if you're a soldier, and or if you have had or you have like proof that you had your stickers on the original Donetsk sign. And so I messaged them because I wanted to do like a nice thing, I guess. And I was very excited for these stickers. But so I messaged them and I said, hey, like my friends are in that direction, and they did have their, stickers and their like little inscriptions and messages on that sign, and they're gonna come back. So I wanted to order stickers for them and give those stickers to them. So I got 25 translucent stickers, 25 stickers on a white background, or like rather sheer, like the background and transparent background. And then they also gave me 4 of these because they're bigger so they can fit on a vehicle. And so see, their logo is this. And it's usually just like this dragon with these with this wreath, but I added the black background and I added this text around it just so it's more cohesive, I guess. I really want to redesign this logo. Like I really want to trace it and design it in a better way, because this was kind of like put together, it seems, on Photoshop. And so it's just it's kind of like images layered on top of each other, and I kind of want to trace it and make it bespoke, I suppose. But at some point, if they even want that, and if I have time. Irish 89. Oh, hello. Just saw 20 Days in Mariupol, so crazy sad. Yeah, well, here is one thing that I will tell you about 20 Days in Mariupol. What you saw there were just for the first 20 days. The real horrors, or like not the real, all of it is horror and all of it is horrible, but the worst things are not on camera, because the people who could fled and saved themselves. Also, see, I like that your name is Irish 89 because we are actually fundraising for a drone for a chosen company, and my friend who is a soldier there is also Irish. Russian diesel exports dropped 25% in the first 10 days of April due to drone attacks on oil refineries. Data from analytics firm Plur show that shipments averaged 0.74 million barrels a day in the 10 days through April 13th. That's down by about 25% compared with the average at this time of year between 2019 and 2023. With the country's oil refining rates recently languishing near an 11-month low, there is a possibility that it may have to divert any crude oil that its plants can't process to the export market. Starsky's version. Oh my gosh, why does this keep doing that? I'm just trying. Oh, here we go. But yeah, Russian diesel exports obviously would drop. Russian crude, however, is difficult because the UAE buys it, like Dubai buys it, China buys it, India buys it. So crude is really, really, really hard to enforce, and it's really sad because that's where most of Russia's profits are coming from right now, which sucks. Switzerland to allocate 5 billion Swiss francs for Ukraine's recovery by 2036. The funds will be allocated in phases. In particular, by 2028, 1.5 billion Swiss francs will be allocated from the international cooperation budget. Also, the fact that Switzerland is not staying neutral and is sending Ukraine aid, even humanitarian aid, that's quite a big deal because, as we know, Switzerland is famously so neutral that it was keeping Nazi assets safe and sound and secure in Swiss banks during World War II. So also, we just received a $100 donation. Thank you so much. And we are now at $1,562.07, which puts us to under $1,000 away from our goal, which is quite freaking awesome. Oh, thank you, Donis. Also, we just got a donation of $50.92. Hi, Darlene. And that brings us to $1,613.62. Read the message where on PayPal? Let me see. Okay, let's see. Okay, aid for drone, and then this one. Oh, I see. How to donate? You can donate through my link in bio. I have a PayPal and I have a PayPal and I have a PayPal and a Venmo in there, and also a Buy Me a Coffee. So if you go to my profile, there is beacons.ai, and you can donate through there. So the message says 20 euro is for the drone and 30 euro is for coffee. So, but if you don't mind, I would like to put all of it towards the drone because, well, I very, very, very much appreciate the coffee, but instead of the coffee, I would like to put that towards the drone. Is that okay? But I really, really, really do appreciate that. And normally I would be, I would be so very much, so very all over the coffees. But I would like this time to put it towards the drone. So if that's okay. But thank you very, 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 very much. That's like 3 weeks worth of coffee in Ukraine, 100%. But also it's the lives of my very close friends. So so you know. But thank you so much. That's so very sweet. So yeah, the fact that Switzerland is allocating humanitarian aid and otherwise aid to Ukraine is a very, very big deal because, again, Switzerland is famously so neutral that people even use, when someone asks you, like, if you have two friends and they're fighting and someone asks you for your opinion, you're like, oh, I'm going to stay Switzerland on this because it's famously neutral. Again, so neutral, so much so neutral that they hi Prague, and hi oh Michael, hi Michael. And they're famously so neutral that they actually kept Nazi assets safe and secure during World War II, same as they're keeping Russian assets quite safe and secure. During a rocket attack on Friday night in Dnipro, a 5-story building was hit, resulting in 2 killed people and 15 injuries, reported the head of the regional military administration, Lysak. In addition, an infrastructural object was damaged in Kryvyi Rih region, resulting in 3 injuries, he added. In Sinelnikova, 3 people, including 2 children, were injured as a result of the strikes. Unfortunately, one 8-year-old child died to injuries at the hospital. The Russians targeted the infrastructure of Ukrzaliznytsia, Ukrainian railways, in Dnipro and the region, the press service of the carrier reported. There are injured among the railway workers. The information about the dead is being clarified. Here is what happened to Dnipro yesterday. Oh, thank you, Niels. Why Dnipro this time? Well, because they can. That's the whole thing. It's not like they really, when they target civilian infrastructure, it's not because there is a reason to it. It's because they can, and they want to terrorize Ukrainians in different states. Oh, why Dnipro this time? Because this is why Dnipro. Russian missile shelling in Dnipro and its region killed 8 people, including 2 children, and injured 25, Dnipro Regional Military Administration reported. Ukrainian air defense forces destroyed 29 air targets overnight. 2 Kh-101, Kh-555 cruise missiles, 14 attack UAVs of the Shahed 131-136 type, 11 Kh-59, Kh-69 guided missiles, 2 Kh-22 cruise missiles. The Air Force confirmed that for the first time, anti-aircraft missile units of the Air Force, in cooperation with the main Directorate of Intelligence of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, shot down a Tu-22M3 long-range strategic bomber carrying Kh-22 cruise missiles. Today's attack was also the first time 2 such missiles were destroyed. Footage of the crashed Russian Tu-22M3 aircraft in the Stavropol region of Russia that, oopsie-doopsie, crashed. 2 pilots survived and 3rd died, and the 4th is being searched for. How very incredibly sad for Russia. Aw, sad. So Tu-22M3 is like a rare type of aircraft because it's modernized and modified, and Russia doesn't have that many of those. So, oops, that's so sad. Like, we are so sad about this. We are not. The Tu-22MZ aircraft was shot down at a distance of about 300 kilometers from Ukrainian territory by the same means that had previously hit the Russian A-50 aircraft, the Defense Intelligence of Ukraine reported. So when Russia says something crashed on its own, thank you, Mandy. When Russia says something crashed on its own, it's usually Ukraine that crashed it. Hello, my English isn't particularly good, but I want to express my gratitude to all Ukraine supporters. I hope the visit to the US by our Czech Prime Minister, Mr. Fiala, helped somewhat. Yeah, I really hope so too. And thank you. Honestly, like, the president of Czechia is freaking fantastic. And also the Czech Republic has been really great to us as well. And I thank you. Also, hi. Really nice to meet you. Russia may be ready to attack NATO in 5 to 8 years, German General Breuer says. Oh, Finland, Heroyam Slava, hi. As the German general pointed out, Russia has increased the production of military equipment, but not all of it goes to the needs of its front in Ukraine. So in 2029, we have to be ready. We see the threat in 5 to 8 years, he said. According to Breuer, based on the Bundeswehr's analysis, Russia will reconstitute its forces to the point where an attack on NATO territory will be possible. And that's the thing, like, people keep calling this fear-mongering. It's not fear-mongering. It's being ready, because it's better to be ready than not ready. And if Russia continues at the pace, like, obviously these things change based on circumstances. It's like a chess game changes, right? So if Ukraine destroys more of the Russian equipment, and if Ukraine destroys Russian plants and Russian oil refineries, then they're not going to have the budget to do that in 5 to 8 years, right? But for that, Ukraine needs to have weapons to do that. So supplying Ukraine is literally eliminating Russia as a threat and making it unable to reach those goals and deadlines. Also, hi Nazar. Good to see you, my friend. So yeah, I call that preparation, not fear-mongering, because it's reasonable. It's reasonable to think about these things, and it's reasonable to get prepared for them. So, just as a reminder, our total for this drone is at $1,613.62. Well, actually, we just got, thank you, Adrienne, or Adrienne or Adrian. We just got another $50, which brings us to $1,663.62. Do you speak Ukrainian? Звісно, я народилася і виросла у Львові, і я жила в Штатах 13 років, а зараз повернулася назад в Україну і живу в Києві. Reckon. And they're reconnaissance drones. Oh, hi, Demon Orb, my favorite, probably my favorite handle to date. And thank you again, Niels, for gifting memberships. And thank you, Ozzy, again, for gifting memberships as well. Also, you guys, for those of you who are not aware, I'm also simultaneously doing this stream on YouTube. So if you miss the stream on TikTok, which I do almost every night, mostly every night, but sometimes lately I've taken a few breaks for a night because my body just really needed some rest. But normally it's every night. And if you miss the live here, you can always go check it out on YouTube because all of them stay recorded there. G7 eyeing using frozen Russian assets as collateral for Ukraine loans. Vice President of the European Commission Valdis Dombrovskis. According to Dombrovskis, the partners are also considering other options for using the $300 billion to help Ukraine, and discussions are ongoing. According to Sky News, the EC vice president expressed hope that the EU would soon be able to agree on using the profits or interest from these assets to help Ukraine. I have no doubt that we will find a way, but we have to be creative, we have to be flexible, said British Foreign Secretary David Cameron. At the same time, the G7 countries plan to keep Russian assets frozen until Moscow pays for the damage it has done to Ukraine. Oh, they're going to have such a hard time doing that because no matter who is president of Russia, unless Russia is being put in the same position as Germany and Japan after World War II, they're not going to be paying anybody back. Russia is just going to be remilitarizing, and Russia is going to be planning its revenge. So Russia needs to be dealt with the same way, but stricter and stronger as Germany and Japan in World War II. The UK allocates $186 million to strengthen Ukraine's energy sector. The UK's permanent representative to the OSCE, Neil Holland, emphasized that the UK will continue to work with G7 Plus partners to help Ukraine repair, protect, and build back its energy system. That's actually fantastic, and that's very much needed because we're all expecting rolling blackouts this summer in order to conserve the electricity. What made you leave the US and to go to Ukraine? SP, I have a video in my shorts about that because that is the number one hottest question. That and whether I'm going to be coming back to the US. So Grumpy, I have a video about that pinned. It's not even pinned on my TikTok. I also have it in shorts, in my shorts on YouTube. It's like on every one of my social media because I get asked that question so many times that I figured it'd be helpful to have that video up. And the second most asked question is if I'm planning on staying in Ukraine forever or if I'm planning on coming back to the US. And you know what? I have no answer for that question. I have no plans of going anywhere as of right now. Ukraine will receive 560 million euro from the European Investment Bank, EIB, this year for projects in energy, transportation, infrastructure, and housing recovery, which is also something we need a lot. So this is the Donetsk. This is the Donetsk sign, and it's being signed, and stickers are being put onto it again, and it's getting they're the soldiers and people all around and from all over are bringing life back into it. Of course, the problem with having erased those signatures and those stickers is because a lot of the people who have put their signatures on it and a lot of people who have put stickers on there are no longer alive because they died defending this country. So it was a horrendous thing to do. And I don't know why these volunteers thought that it was a good thing, but it is what it is. And of course, it's never going to be the same. But also, life is being breathed into it again. And Volodymyr Zelensky just went to this sign and put his signature on it. And these stickers are meant partially to go on this sign. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. This is why I ordered these stickers for the soldiers, because I was hoping that they could use them for the sign. Well, it's because I know that they had them there, and I was like, oh, this is a great idea. They're giving discounts, so I'm just going to, order some stickers. And it's like, it's such a small thing, but I think, like, it's a nice thing, It's like a little pick me up amongst, horrendous things that are happening. European Council approves duties on agricultural products from Russia and Belarus, says DW. The European Council called for further imposition of duties on imports of grain, oilseeds, and their products from Russia and Belarus, including wheat, corn, and sunflower meal. At the same time, the leaders of the European Union and its member states emphasized that it is necessary to guarantee that this will not affect the transit of these goods to developing countries. This will prevent Russian grain from destabilizing the EU market for these products, from exporting these goods to the EU, and ensure that illegal Russian exports of stolen Ukrainian grain do not affect the EU market, said European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. In 2023, Russia exported approximately 1.3 billion euro worth of such products to the European Union. The EU duties will deprive the Russian economy and, as a result, the Russian military machine of another source of income, Brussels said. The tariff increase also applies to Belarus. The European Union will not allow Russia to use Belarus to circumvent the new tariffs and direct its goods to the EU market, the European Commission stated. This proposal will now be considered by the EU Council, and once approved, the duties will be imposed immediately. So, see, here's where the problem lays. I would also do the same to likely Georgia, because Russians can bring the grain to Georgia and circumvent the sanctions that way somehow. I know it's not on the way. And I know it's going to be difficult, but the thing is that Georgian people are pro-Europe and Georgian people are very much against Russia, and they're also very much against the regime, and they're pro-Ukrainian, but the Georgian government is Russian shills, like genuinely Russia-installed shills. And we know about the protests that are happening in Georgia against their government and against the foreign agents law. If you don't know what that law is, please watch the the previous live, not this one, the one before that, because we talked very extensively. I have a video on my channel. It's in the section of briefs. It's the brief of what's going on in Georgia, and that video explains a lot about what that law is and how it helps Russia. In Dnipro, the body of a woman was recovered from the rubble in the most damaged building, the head of the regional military administration said. Now, according to updated information, there are 7 killed and 35 injured in the region. Drone manufacturer Quantum Systems has opened a plant in Ukraine, says defense industry. Quantum Systems vector reconnaissance drones have been used in Ukraine since May 2022. It is expected that 500 of these UAVs will be delivered to Ukraine by the end of the year. And the new plant will increase production capacity to 1,000 drones per year. Ukraine has trusted our systems since the beginning of the war. With our own plant, we want to express our trust in Ukraine and our conviction that the future of drone technology is being written here, said Florian Siebel, CEO of Quantum Systems. And that's great news. NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg, said that the participants in the NATO-Ukraine Council meeting agreed to increase support for Ukraine with air defense. Finally, because we really, 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 really need that. NATO has mapped out available resources across the alliance. There are systems that are available for Ukraine, so I expect new announcements on air defense assistance to Ukraine in the near future. He also added that NATO considers Ukrainian attacks on military targets inside Russian territory legitimate. We have to remember what this is. This is a war of aggression by Russia, which attacked its neighbor, Ukraine. Ukraine has the right to self-defense. And that also includes strikes on legitimate military targets outside of Ukraine. So, shooting down Russian planes that were used to strike Ukraine as part of Ukraine's right to self defense. Indeed. At a meeting of the NATO Ukraine Council, Volodymyr Zelensky named 5 urgent defense needs of Ukraine: 7 Patriot air defense systems or similar, 1 million artillery shells, long-range weapons, aviation, and speed in the supply of the weapons. Because one of the largest problems that we have been experiencing is the aid not getting here. So here is we're getting into the juice of the night, I would call it. And that is, if the US does not provide more military support, Ukraine could lose the war against Russia by the end of the year, CIA Director William Burns told CNN. He's not wrong. With the boost that would come from military assistance, both practically and psychologically, I think the Ukrainians are entirely capable of holding their own through 2024. Without supplemental assistance, the picture is a lot more dire. That's the thing, like spirits are very low because of all of these delays in aid, because of, weapons shortages and stuff like that. And like, if this aid gets passed, we've been waiting for it for so long, it's going to bring the spirits up so high that people are really like, especially guys at the front, they're really going to give it their all. According to him, there is a very real risk that Ukrainians could lose on the battlefield by the end of 2024, or at least put Putin in a position where he could essentially dictate the terms of a political settlement. Would never happen, but... The U.S. House of Representatives takes a step towards approving new aid to Ukraine. The U.S. House of Reps held a procedural vote on four foreign aid bills, including one for Ukraine, which allows them to be brought to the House for further consideration. Democrats voted 165 in favor, 39 against, while Republicans voted 151 in favor, 55 against. This procedure allows for bills on foreign aid and countering Russia, Iran, and China to be submitted to the House for the consideration, which was reported to take place on April 20th, so tomorrow. And it is looking like this bill is going to be passed. But before we get there, and I'm sure that most of you have seen this, and when I tell you I don't understand how this human being actually remembers to take a breath every time she needs to take a breath, I genuinely mean it. Because I don't understand. If she's that stupid, then I don't understand how she remembers to breathe. And if she's that evil, well then, that solves the problem. Moscow Marge, well, she is Putin's special envoy to the House, to the Congress. So genuinely one of the, dumbest people. But here are the proposed amendments to the Ukraine aid bill. I'm going to read you the ones only from Marjorie Taylor Greene. Requires all members of Congress who vote in favor of this act to conscript in the Ukrainian military. Well, I guess you can require all members of Congress, especially Marjorie Taylor Greene, to conscript into the Russian military if they vote against the aid to Ukraine. Also, why doesn't she just take a job with the Kremlin? Oh my God. I'm so sorry. On TikTok, the super chats or the super stickers, they're like these very, very, very cute little animations. And there was just a baby dragon that came out of its egg, and it was the cutest little thing. It was like a birth of a baby dragon. Sorry, it was like the most adorable thing. Also, these things always remind me of Cinny. Yes, you did it. It's so cute. Oh my God, thank you so much. But so yes, I do believe that Marjorie Taylor Greene should be her new job should be with the Kremlin, and it should be she should be called the special honorary envoy of Putin to the Congress. Right after she conscripts to the Russian military, of course. Prohibits funding until Ukraine stops persecuting Christians. Well, Marge, I have great news for you. We've never prosecuted them, so it's good, I guess that stands, right? So you have nothing against that now, right, sweetheart? It prohibits funding until Ukraine closes all biolaboratories. I mean, we really cannot do that because we do need to do our blood work somewhere. And so do you, Marge. Every single time you go and give your blood work, you get your blood work done, that's done in a biolaboratory. I'm sorry, but I guess we're going to have to decline this offer because medicine is a thing. And we do like going to the doctors here in Ukraine because healthcare is kind of affordable. But yeah, all right. Guess that one's settled, right? A couple of MAGA far right Republicans literally wrote strikes entire bill text. Fantastic, isn't it? Another Marjorie Taylor Greene proposed amendment reduces every dollar amount in the bill to zero. Reasonable. Prohibits funding until Ukraine bans abortion. I'm sorry. Until Ukraine does what? We're not a Christo-fascist state, Lots of people here are Christians. Lots of people are Catholic. There are lots of different religions here. However, even my grandmother, who goes to church every Sunday and puts a candle up for my health, her son's health, my dad's health, and all these things, she thinks that it's everyone's personal business whether they get an abortion or not. What the fuck? Like, I'm sorry. Like, how is this woman a representative in the Congress? Like, who elected her? Who did that? She's actually batshit crazy. Like, this is not even like you can dictate to another sovereign nation to ban abortion so you could get funding for a war. Like, that doesn't even, it's not like, oh, so Ukraine needs to decrease its human rights to get NATO and EU support? What? No. Okay, prohibits funding for the Azov Battalion. Of course it does. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Prohibits funding until Ukraine turns over all information related to Hunter Biden and Burisma. I don't even have anything to comment here. I don't have anything to comment. So I'm going to point this out because I really like this one, right? Prohibits funding until former actor Volodymyr Zelensky resigns as president of Ukraine. All right. I love how she pointed out former actor. Prohibits speaking until former stripper Marjorie Taylor Greene resigns as congresswoman. I really do like how she likes to point out his former career. He was also a very successful owner of a production company. However, Marge baby, I mean, listen, I don't judge, and I think that every woman is supposed to be able to do with her body what she wants and make money with her body if she wants. But you know what? You were a stripper. Why aren't you calling yourself former stripper, current congresswoman? Why do you have to point out that Zelensky was an actor? Like, genuinely. He was an actor. Cool. I mean, he was also a very, very, very successful owner of one of the largest production companies in all post-Soviet, sphere of influence. So he wasn't just an actor or a comedian. Marge, however, was just a stripper. Yeah. Funds made available by this act shall be offset by the salaries of members who vote in favor of it. How about the members who vote against it will have to go to Russia and receive the actual official government salaries? The amounts. I think that's a great idea. Directs the president to withdraw the U.S. from NATO. I mean, of course, because Trump's bidding. But yeah, so these are. She was a stripper. Like, no, she legitimately was a stripper. Do you not remember that? That was like a huge scandal. She was a stripper. It was like her and Lauren Boebert, who both had like very questionable careers. Now, there is nothing wrong with being a stripper. Listen, here's the thing. Like, I legitimately think, like, I don't judge. I think that you do you, and you make your money the way that you want to make your money. I don't think there is anything shameful in being a stripper. I just find it really funny that she points out, like, oh, former actor. Meanwhile, like, honey babes, you yourself did not start your career in politics. You know? It was reported that an entire family was among the victims of Russian shelling in the Dnipro region. A 6-year-old boy was left an orphan as a result. And that is why I will continue wearing this hoodie everywhere I go, especially if I go abroad. The Netherlands will allocate more than 260 million euro for aid to Ukraine, Ministry of Defense following the NATO-Ukraine Council. Mstislav Chernov, the director of the documentary 20 Days in Mariupol, arrived and brought the first Ukrainian Oscar. When people need hope, moments like the Oscars gives them strength. They give strength to us, the military and doctors, not to give up. The director explained why this is an important award for Ukraine during the war. And this is Mstislav Chernov holding an Oscar at, I suppose, Kyiv train station or Kharkiv train station. But also, I have an interview. For those of you who are new, I have an interview with Mstislav Chernov that I took in New York during one of the screenings of 20 Days in Mariupol at the Ukrainian Institute. While there was a screening, we were sitting in the kitchen downstairs and chatting, and it's a phenomenal interview. It's in my podcast that is temporarily on pause. I don't know for how long because circumstance. But the podcast is called The Press Lounge, and the first episode is the interview with Mstislav Chernov, and it's fantastic, and you should really give it a go. You can also find that interview in my link in bio and at beacons.ai/Yewleea. Russian missile attack on Odessa region destroyed containers with agricultural products that were to be exported to Asia and Africa. Hi MD. 2 terminals in the Pivdenny port, which specialize in transshipment of agricultural products, were attacked. One of the terminals belongs to the Singaporean company Delta Vilmar, according to the Ministry for Communities, Territories and Infrastructure. This is Russia's 39th attack on port infrastructure facilities in Odessa region. 215 facilities, 153 vehicles, 8 civilian vessels were damaged and partially destroyed, and 26 civilians were injured. Which are all horrendous numbers, but to be honest, it's like, you know, living in this type of situation, it becomes such daily life for you that you're no longer surprised. And you're so desensitized to things like that, unfortunately, because it's part of your daily existence. It's like, you know, when I hear an air raid at this point, I don't get scared, I get annoyed. I get annoyed because I know that now my day is going to be fully interrupted and I'm going to have to go to a bomb shelter. And when I hear it in my apartment in the middle of the night, I close the window. Oh. Hi, Mark. Yeah, me too. I wish I could thank Robert as well. It was such an unexpected and such a generous donation too. The fundraiser is going really well. Sorry, there was such a shift of moods, but that's also life in Ukraine. We are at $1,663.62 out of $2,500. So we are a little over $800 away from the goal. So if you would like to contribute, here is the link to where you can do that. Or in my links, you can find one to buy me a coffee. And you can also do that through there. Or if you're on TikTok, you can find the link in my link in bio, and it'll bring you to my Venmo and my PayPal. And yeah. Also, in my community tab, I've posted a couple of updates, and there are also, I've posted my Venmo and PayPal handle. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you so much. Also, you guys, it's almost 3 a.m. Anastasia is here. I am doing a small appearance on a podcast tomorrow. I will let you know. My favorite music. Oh, I really like old school music. I'm like a Red Hot Chili Peppers type of person. I've also been really loving Charlotte Cardin. She's a French Canadian singer. But you guys, I'm going to go to sleep because it is really late, and Anastasia is only here for Saturday and part of Sunday, and then she's leaving midday on Sunday. And I would like to spend some time. I love Radiohead. I would love to spend some time with her tomorrow, and I will be on. I'm supposed to do a live at 10 p.m. It's like a podcast, and I will post it in the community tab before I go on it. And then also I will obviously do the normal news live afterwards. So I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Bye. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.